What's up everybody, it's Tim, and in this video I'm just gonna go over crypto. There's gonna be a crypto related video. We're gonna touch on cleanspark, we're gonna get into VGX, what I'm doing there, my thoughts on it, what I expect moving forwards. We're also gonna look at Bitcoin. It is at a very critical level, and I'm also gonna talk about a crypto I haven't talked about in a while. It had a little bit of hype. It has been pulling back. I'm sure you guys can guess what it is, but let's get right into this. First off, if you don't mind hitting the like and subscribe, I definitely appreciate it. Ring that notification bell too. And don't forget to check out the links below. Free stocks, free crypto, BlockFi credit card, yada, yada, yada. And let's first off get into Bitcoin. Now, looking at Bitcoin here, you will see that we just bounced off of this trend, and this was a long trend. You guys have seen me show you this before ever since the beginning of January. We bounced on this once in January, once again in February. Haven't bounced on it or tested it in a while, and now we just bounced off of it. And I've also got another pattern for you to watch out for, and this is kind of a downward wedge. Now it does hit this bottom point 4 times. The top hits a couple of times. It did have a false breakout here. I would kind of disregard that. Keep an eye on this trend as well, and if we do continue downwards on it, make sure that we bounce on this $37,000 area. I am not worried one bit about Bitcoin. I know this is a long game in the end, and short term it can go in any direction. I personally don't expect it to break under the 30,000s. I honestly don't think we're going to see the low 30s personally, but it's of course possible. However, after all this time, we're inching closer and closer towards our next halving. Yes, it is a while away, but we are getting closer to it. And the closer and closer we get, that hype starts coming in slowly but surely. I don't expect to see hype anytime soon necessarily. I know that with Bitcoin, patience is key. Now, what are your guys' thoughts on Bitcoin? Leave me a comment below. Are you bearish on it? Are you bullish? Do we need to come down under 30,000? Or are we about to break 40 and blast off to previous highs of about 68,000? Let me know in the comments below. And next up, let's talk about a crypto I have not once mentioned on this channel. Let's talk about Apecoin. Now, looking at Apecoin, I am not in this one yet. I'm kind of keeping an eye on it. It is trying to bounce, but I think this could be a dead cat bounce personally. It does seem to be finding some resistance here at the 200, but time will tell on that. We kind of need to see what it's going to do there. But it is nice to see it bouncing off oversold on the RSI or near oversold. And the MACD is curling. So we may be in for a little bit of a bull run on Ape. But me personally, I'm keeping an eye on this trend. I'm keeping an eye on the momentum. I want to ride this one once that momentum fully shifts. I don't think we're there yet, personally. Now, as for some zones to look out for, I think that we need to break about 18 to begin to be bullish on Apecoin. And I think personally, if we break this 15.5, this is our low point recently. If we do break this, we are definitely in for some more downward action. And after 15, our next support would be roughly the $13 area, so look out for that. I'm keeping an eye on Apecoin personally. Not yet invested in it, but let me know what you guys are doing with Apecoin. Is this something you're even concerned about? Is this on your radar at all? What are your thoughts? And next up, I want to talk about VGX Voyager Token. As you guys know, I'm extremely bullish on Voyager for the long term. I love the company, I love their app, and if you don't have their app, check out the link below, highly recommend it. But with VGX Token specifically, I definitely can see this coming towards some lower levels, and it was very concerning to see us break this $30. As I said, we did continue down, we tried to consolidate, kind of bear flagged out here, broke further, looked like we had a bit of a double bottom, a bit of a W here, started bouncing higher. If we break 108, we're in for some farther action to the downside. When we did hit 108, we did see a nice little pop. If we test it again and break, we're definitely likely to test that dollar area. However, looking at the MACD is bullish. The RSI is pointing up, still in the neutral zone, definitely has some room to run. However, mid to short term, I do expect this one to continue with some fear as we wait on that regulation, as we wait on any kind of news in that regard. I personally expect some fear on this one, and if Bitcoin pushes down, VGX is likely to push down further, outperform to the downside. And if Bitcoin pushes up, VGX likely won't outperform to the upside. VGX will see a smaller run up compared to Bitcoin's potential run up. So right now, personally, I don't think VGX is the play short term. However, long term, I'm extremely bullish, and you better believe I'm going to be continuing to hold. But I'm watching this one, and I want to see if we do break from this 108 personally. I don't think we're home free yet on this one. I don't think we've seen the bottom, but time will tell. I think we can likely retest this area. But it also kind of does depend on where Bitcoin goes, of course. And it depends on what news we get here on their earnings report coming up here very soon. I will be covering it, so stay tuned for that. Alright guys, and next up, I wanted to mention Cleanspark or Clsk Stock. This is my favorite Bitcoin miner by a country mile. And I wanted to just go into my thoughts on earnings. If you didn't watch my previous video, check it out. I do mention Cleanspark in that one. And I'll leave you guys a link on the end screen for that. And as I've said before, I personally expect that we're going to beat over 50 million in revenue, possibly 55 million. That's my prediction. And in terms of percentage gain, quarter over quarter for revenue growth, that's not even that much compared to what they have been doing over the last year, over a year. Next up, we're going to get roughly a 20% revenue increase, I expect. So that is less than we have gotten previously, but as that revenue gets larger, it's going to be harder and harder to get just an extremely high growth gain on it. That being said, 50 million and above is fantastic for a company that was making less than 10 million about a year ago. And we have two analysts covering this one in terms of revenue estimates. They have an average of about 42 million for this quarter. I think they're mistaken. I think personally they're going to be mistaken. And next quarter, they expect 47 million. I think personally we're going to be way above that 50 million. Next quarter, we're going to be at around 60 million. And for this current year, 2022, they're saying 182. I'm going to say easily breaking 200 million. That's my personal opinion. What do you guys think about CleanSpark? Let me know. I personally think that with CleanSpark next week will be a golden opportunity to add this one while it's still in the $6 range. But just be aware that earnings is coming up. So if you don't want to take that risk, just wait until after earnings or just dollar cost through it. That's what I would personally do. I'm just about fully built out on CleanSpark, but if this does happen to dip and hit this 550 area, you better believe I will be adding to it. Now, looking at the short-term trend, it is in a downtrend. It is continuing down this channel. There's no reason to not believe that we might possibly break this $6 area. However, I personally doubt it, and earnings will come out. I think earnings will save this one. And we're going to go back over that $10 in literally no time. I think earnings will be the saving grace for companies like CleanSpark, companies like Indie. Very excited to see those earnings. But that's it for today, guys. What have you been investing in? What cryptos are you watching? What stocks are you watching? Let me know in the comments below. And until next time, take it easy.